pole down the line, and he's going to be out of here. Line down the right field line toward the pesky pole. Leaping up, and that ball is gone. That's a home run. A lot of our Nesson team as well. High fly down the right field line, headed toward the pesky pole. That one tucked in, and that ball is going to be against the wall and into second base. Number retired, and now Rafael Devers trying to retire that baseball inside the pesky pole.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Pesky Podcast. I am your host, the Ritt. With me is my co-host, DC, and the OG, George Sutherland. DC, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Doing pretty well, man. How you doing?
Not bad. Freaking stressed. Hurrying up. What you eating over there?
I was eating grapes.
Oh, okay.
Doing the healthy snack thing. There you go.
I just had some. My wife made some ham and bean soup, and it was awesome.
Oh man. So OG, where you at now? What's going on?
I'm in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia.
Ah, that state there is a state that never ends north to south.
You got that right. Interstate 81 is a long road.
So
Yeah, it is.
But man, did you guys check out some of the postseason game? Did you check out tonight's game?
Yeah,
Last I saw was 4-1.
Yeah, the talking a little postseason baseball. Man, let's start off with tonight because man, it's crazy that Arizona and Philly. What is the score right now? Can we get an update?
4-1, I think still.
4-1 on the top of the seventh. I have.
Yeah, 4-1. You know, Arizona could come back and, man, they could sit there and make this a series. And I know, George, you and I didn't pick that. You know, we picked the Phillies when we had Ed Hand on.
Mm-hmm.
But let's start with DC a little bit. How surprised are you about these Arizona Diamondbacks?
I'm pretty surprised. Obviously didn't see them getting, this point, a couple games away from the World Series, but they were a really young team, really defensive team, really athletic team. Corbin Carroll's pretty damn good. I wish they would just steal with them more, in the ALC or in the NLCS. But definitely surprised, but I definitely didn't see them coming this far. I would think the whole playoffs was their main goal, and they've succeeded them for sure. Or exceeded them, sorry.
I know George and I think we both said Phillies in 6. Well, am I correct, George?
Yeah, I said I thought that it would go 6, maybe 7, but I definitely had predicted 6. And I think everybody after the first couple of games is like, well, they're just Phillies is going to run over them. No, Diamondbacks are way too talented a team, and they've come back and they've showed it. So, hey, it'd be really something if they go 7.
Yeah, and in today's game, a first happened for Arizona. First ever back-to-back home run in a playoff game. And going back and thinking, they've been in the playoffs before, and to say that this is the first time they ever had back-to-back homers is kind of strange, wouldn't you say, George?
Yeah. But again, it's been a while since they've been on, in the playoffs. They've been in a few times, but they don't have the long-standing postseason runs like the Phillies have been there before. The Astros. You go back, even the Red Sox, the Dodgers, and the Braves, and things like that. So they don't, they're still kind of young at it and kind of very inexperienced in that role. But yeah, I mean, this team is they're hungry, and it's almost like they don't know how good they are, and they just step up at the right time. And yeah, I mean, Philadelphia wants to go back so bad they can taste it. I keep calling it the revenge tour. So,
man, DC, do you think Philly's going to come back in Game 7 if they push a Game 7. You know, this game isn't even over yet, and we're talking kind of like it already is.
Make it 5-1.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think Philly has a chance. Obviously, I kind of went into this thinking that they were going to win in probably 5 or 6 games, more towards 5 games, but they definitely, ran into a pretty hot team. They came out at the right moment. I think, honestly, the game's not over. I think, 7th inning it's in? I mean, Philly has a pretty lethal offense, and they're playing at home. So they have that energy. I can see them coming back tonight. But I think if it goes to Game 7, ultimately, I think the Phillies pull it out.
Yeah. George, final thought on the NLCS?
No, I'm still believe the Phillies going to win. And if it does go to a 7th game, yeah, I'm not going to discount them. They're going to come out pounding the baseball. But it's been a very good series so far. So I'm pleased.
Hey, I'm going to sit there and stick with the Phillies in 7, unless they can close them out in 6. So ALCS, man, I love this. Oh man. First off, let's sit there and talk a little something that's a little close to home. What are your guys' thoughts on Altuve creeping up on Manny Ramirez's postseason home run record? Let's start with you, DC, because, man, I know you love you some Manny.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the whole sign stealing thing, it's in the past, but it made me hate him. It made me despise him. I think with the rest of America that aren't Astro fans, but it's a very good player. Even without that stuff going on, he's just, he's been there, and it sucks that he's going to reach up on my favorite player, because I obviously want to see him at top.
Yeah. George, what about you down there?
It is amazing. What is he, 5'7"? If he stands on his toes,
Yeah,
my goodness, he's got ice water in his veins, and when he comes up, he uses every ounce of energy he has to put the ball in the seats, and to do it in the postseason, yeah, good heavens, and to creep up on Manny, that's even more scary. But yeah, he's like a firecracker, and when he goes off, he goes off.
Yeah, me personally, I don't like nothing about the Astros. Like, I despise them from day one. Ring, ring, ring goes the whistle, and bang, bang, bang goes the trash cans. It really just sit there and just thinks out how all that went through and everything. But my man Garcia, first person to ever have 4 RBIs and 4 strikeouts in the same game. Man, that was just crazy. Garcia with one, he silenced a whole city last night. George, did you get to check out any of the game, and what did you think?
I did. So I saw Abreu hit him, and I think the umpires got it wrong. And that's part of the ballgame. You had a runner on first base. That's not the time to put runners on first and thinking that it was going to get into a throwing war. MLB's done a pretty good job about tamping that down. But yeah, look, he showboated it. Come on. It took him a week and a half to get around the bases, and then he tiptoes up and puts his foot on home plate. That's going to get the other bench pretty ticked off. But in terms of Abreu going out there and saying, I'm going to come this time, wrong time of the game. And if he did it on purpose, that Baker would take him in the dugout and hey dude, what are you doing? You know better than this. But boy, I thought Dusty was going to have a heart attack when all of that went down.
Yeah.
Garcia's a talented player. Okay. and he's full of emotion. And there's some bad blood between these guys anyway, all season long. But yeah, I think the umpires got that wrong. The wrong time of the game. If you're a baseball purist, you don't do it then.
DC, what did you think about the home run heard around the world with Garcia?
The one before he got hit?
No, the one from last night.
I mean, that was pretty sick. Like you said, he struck out 4 times, got the golden sombrero, and hit a grand slam in the same game. That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
That explains this, this day and age of baseball. You have so many hitters that strike out so many times, but they hit bombs every other time.
Yeah. So let's talk about a former Red Sox player who just keeps on adding to his playoff resume. Let's talk about Nasty Nate. After last night's game, 15 games, he started 10 of them, 69 innings pitched, a 2.87 ERA, a 2.71 FIP, 9 Ks per 9 innings, 1.6 walks per 9 innings, and 0.7 home runs per 9 innings. That is some crazy ass numbers from Nate. And I guarantee you, if they would sit there and said, Nate, you want the ball tomorrow, which will be tonight, Nate would say, give me it. And, it's crazy. We seen him in 2018, the mentality that he had pushing through all, eating up all those extra innings that we had in a playoff game. And he just keeps going. DC, I know Sale's your boy, but deep down you have to sit there and like a workhorse like Nathan Eovaldi.
Oh yeah, man. It definitely sucks he didn't end up back in Boston, but he shows up in the playoffs, and that's what you pay for. It sucks it didn't work out with him and the Sox, but he just shows up like he did in 2018. He just went after he wanted the ball, and that's the kind of guy you want in that situation. And we were lucky, back in 2018 to have him and a guy like Chris Sale who just demanded the ball. But yeah, great player. Insane. I think he's just unreal in the playoffs. It's rare to see in this day and age. Just dominance consistently.
Yeah, and considering you take a flashback of 2018. We seen in the playoffs while we put Chris Sale in to close that game. Because sometimes Kimbrel gives you a heart attack.
Yeah.
So
as you see it now.
Yes. Hey, George, what are your thoughts? And George, can you think of someone else that comes close to Eovaldi in the playoffs with those numbers?
No, I can't, to be honest with you. He was running on fumes late in the game, and he just willed the ball to do what he wanted it to do. Even when he surrendered that lone run, make it, 3-2. He just grabbed every ounce of strength and just kind of willed the ball to go and do what he wanted it to do. But yeah, I can't really think of anybody that runs close. To do what he did. Nothing comes to mind right away. But yeah, he's a different cat in the playoffs. And he'd look better in a Boston uniform for sure. But they decided not to call him. But yeah, I'm happy for him too. He was. And if you look at it, I mean, they had DeGrom, being the number one guy, and he was going to be I think Nate was just going to be, a solid afterthought for them, a veteran pitcher to kind of round it out and all of that. But yeah, I think the people of the national audience have forgotten just how good he can be in the postseason. And you got to know the Rangers are absolutely thrilled that he's doing it, because, he's going to show the younger arms and the staff, this is how you get it done. So
yeah. And tonight the Rangers, they throw Max Scherzer in there. Now Scherzer, he can either be really good
Yep.
or as you see in the his first time pitching, he can be really bad. And the Astros are throwing Javier out there. He's 2-0 with a 1.69 ERA. The Astros, they've came to play for Game 7. The Rangers, they're going to rely on that hot bat. Do you think, DC, we're going to throw it to you. Nasty Nate just pitched last night. If Scherzer gets in trouble, do you think that there's a chance Eovaldi could get called from out of the bullpen?
I don't think so. As much as that would be a cool story, I think he put in too many innings last night. I mean, I'm sure he probably would volunteer. I don't know. I've seen crazier things, but I just don't think that would be smart, especially with his injury history. But, I mean, you never know.
I'm trying to see how many pitches he had last night.
I think he pitched like 6 2/3 or something, right? Or I could be.
He pitched 6 1/3, but how many pitches did he throw?
88.
88? Okay, 88. That's a decent workload, especially nowadays. But, man, this is the postseason World Series. If it's coming down, I might have to throw him out there. I might have to ask him. So, because in the postseason, the Rangers bullpen, with all those names in there, they haven't been able to come up all the time. So, George, who's taking Game 7 tonight? DC, what about you?
I think I think the Rangers take it, man. Houston can't win at home right now. I don't know what's up. I don't think they've won since the beginning of last series, the Game 1. They just can't. They can't win at home right now. I don't know. I mean, that's a weird thing to bank it on, but I think they had the pitching, the favorable pitching as far as Scherzer. Javier has been good in 2 starts, but he wasn't the best pitcher in the regular season. So, I mean, obviously, as you see with Nate, he just turns into another animal. So maybe that's Javier. But I think the Rangers take it. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Astros did. I just don't want the Astros to win at all.
I sit there and said a Phillies Rangers World Series. George, on the other hand, said Astros Phillies. George, last chance. You want to jump on over to the Rangers?
I'm on the fence, man. If the Rangers are on one of their hot streaks, and this is a weird series, though. I mean, Houston can't win at home, and Texas can't. Neither can Texas. So, maybe, who knows? But to go to Game 7. See him in, unless it's like they go into extra innings. And, he says, I can give you 25 pitches. So, but I can see.
So, yeah. Let's sit there and turn the news over to some Red Sox news. Our man, my man, the only Gold Glove nomination. Now, you would think of how well the Red Sox played defense all year long. We should have had 2, 3, 4, but Alex Verdugo was the only person nominated for a Gold Glove award. So let's start with my man DC. I know he loves him some Doogie now. So what did you sit there and think about hearing about the Gold Glove nomination?
I mean, it's pretty cool. He has pretty solid defense all year. He made play after play, especially late in the game. When they were actually in it. So I'm not surprised. I don't know if he'll win. I think he's going against Garcia or Kyle Tucker, right? For right field. Yeah, I mean, that's tough. But he played, exceptional defense. So I like that aspect of his game. Sometimes, I just wish he'd bring that consistency, to the batter box.
Yeah, George, what about you?
Yeah, I mean it's nice. He did play very well in right field this year. I think that's the part of his game that he really stepped up continuously. throughout the season. That was probably the steadiest part of his game. He's got 2 tough other candidates to go against, and and got being showcased, in the postseason. But I'm happy for him. He earned it. He's we got a front row seat to seeing all the good things he did in the outfield. So as DC said, now if we could have just been that consistent at the plate, we might have really had something. But yeah, he definitely deserves to be mentioned with the other 2. So,
well, let's sit there and we're going to show the video, and then we're going to talk a little bit about it. A quick reminder on why Alex Verdugo is a Gold Glove Award finalist.
The starting pitcher, J.P. Sears, will go left-hander for Oakland toward the hole. That's going to be a dive and a miss by Arroyo. And here comes the runner trying to score. He hesitates. He's going back to third. Here's the throw. He's going to be out at third base. Wow. Boy, with infield leaning in. Verdugo moving over. And he'll make the catch. Runner tagging.
Got him.
Get a throw. Here's the tag, and he's going to be out at home plate.
What a throw.
It's been wild.
It's like we just decided not to use it. Runner goes, and a fly ball.
Oh, good job of deking him.
Verdugo in. They've got him way off the bag.
Oh,
he's going to throw
this
first.
one left field.
And that is going to be a double play.
Good deke.
Dangerous spot here with the great hitting Riley up, and he smokes this thing to right field. Verdugo going back right at the wall. He makes the play. Fires it back in. Riley gave it a ride, but Verdugo was there at the wall to reel it in. He has.
Never dip your toe in another pool until they start swinging a high fly ball down that right field line near the pole. Doogie over there and stays right with it to make the catch. That was in fair territory too.
And this is my favorite play all year.
Into right field, a base hit. Springer in to score. Bichette running through the stop sign, and he is out to end the game.
Man. Like, he sit there, he had like some great defensive moments to the season. So, and that video, guys, was put together by our new video production team. Our head video editor, Jut Stockhouse, and then our boy Harrison. Hey, you want to sit there and talk about some steals. People always like, in the off season, we got a good steal. We picked up some good free agency. Those 2 there was a steal when we got them a part of our podcast. So, George, you seen the video? You were there in the meetings. So, what are your thoughts? And man, we got some great projects coming up too.
Yeah, I'm really excited. You got 2 talented people who do something very, very, very well. I mean, the way that thing just flows, one cut to the next is really, really good. I mean, given the circumstances, I was thrilled to see them agree to come on board and help and just be part of the team. It just makes the whole process better. And it's a skill I know I don't have. So, more power. Just bring them in and help us out.
Yeah, I know my video editing skills. Man, it's a long process. As DC, he's still got that song stuck in his head. So
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it.
But DC, well, what are your thoughts, man? It's like I know you were pumped when coming out of the meeting. We got a little rough, but we ironed out the details and got him aboard.
Yeah, I mean, pretty stoked. Obviously, I don't have those skills, and they're very good at it. Stoked to have them on the team, get to know them, work with them. Echo what George said. Just pretty, excited to have them on.
Yeah, I've been scouting them, DC. You know, I've been scouting them for a while because our YouTube channel is one of the things that we really need to sit there and work on, getting up. And now we have people that can help us boost the YouTube channel and take over these big projects that we're working with, some great minor leaguers that we're going to be working with overall and really, really push, us to the next level, which I think we do. So big shout out to Jutt and Harrison. Love the guys that are part of the team, and just there's projects coming, and just check them out. So Tyler Milliken, let's sit there and talk about Yamamoto. So some interesting details about Yamamoto's outlook when it comes to free agency. Yamamoto covets the opportunity to play in a large market, league sources say. Some Japanese players are uncomfortable being major league teammates with other Japanese players. The Athletics' Ken Rosenthal wrote earlier this year, not Yamamoto. He is believed to have an open mind about the possibility of playing alongside another Japanese player. We just so happen to have a pretty good Japanese player with Yoshida. So, DC, let's start with you. Man, well, what are you thinking about the possibility that, he wants to play in a big market? He doesn't care if he's playing with another Japanese player. He just wants to play some ball.
Yeah, I think we have an advantage, obviously, having Yoshida on a team. They, I don't know what their relationship is like. I think they played it together, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously that's a huge advantage. I saw he's fine with being an open market, and that's what he prefers. So that's a good mindset to have. Obviously, you have to have some thick skin to play in Boston. You look at the past players that come through, especially.
Bam.
There you go. I thought that was what I was thinking about was that picture, but I couldn't remember. I didn't want to misspeak. But yeah, I mean, I think it's going to take a lot of money, but I think, if you want to make a splash and you're committed to winning, I think you got to throw a flyer, or not a flyer, but you got to, throw your hat in that rate or in that, that game. I just hope he doesn't go to like a team like the Mets. You know what I mean? I'd be so disappointed. But I think I read somewhere they're going to throw a ton of money at him. So we shall see. But obviously, I want him part of the Sox staff. I think he could be the top guy, and that's what we need. We need a top line starter, two of them.
Yeah. George, what about you?
Yeah, it's comforting to hear him think that it's okay to be, on a team with another Japanese player. I think the general consensus has been these guys just want to be their own little star on the team. They did play together, in Japan before, and I think that's great. But yeah, we need pitching, and if he's 90% of say he is, he would be a huge addition to the staff. The thing I always worry about is, how much money is the front office going to spend? And given his numbers and given really the front-end starters, he's going to command a very high dollar value. And, how much, the question is, how high are we willing to go? And we'll see, how much John Henry's going to open his wallet to do it. I can easily see him getting in the $24 to $28 million range, just who he is because of the lack of, front end rotation guys.
Yeah. You look at the top three, pitchers out there, Aaron Nola, Blake Snell, Yamamoto.
That's it.
And there's other ones, but if you want a 1 and 2, the Red Sox got to get 2 out of 3 of those pitchers to compete. George, am I wrong in stating that we need, we got to have 2 out of the 3? Like, we can't go in there with, we could go in for Montgomery at number 2. but anybody else we can't. Like, it has to be 2 out of those 3 guys there.
I don't see Jordan Montgomery as a 2. I mean, he's a 3-4 for me. They've got to get 2 front end starters. How they get them, is it Yamamoto? And do they go? We've talked about it 100 times. Get somebody like a Corbin Burns. Put the trade package together, but they've got to come up with 2 quality. If they don't, it just they're not even worth talking about in terms of contention next year. That has to be their focus. I don't think Blake Snell would come to Boston. With Nola's going to, depending on how far the Phillies go in the playoffs, Nola's going to be able to pretty much write his own ticket, because of his playoff experience. So yeah, it's going to be an expensive check to write, but either way, they need 2 quality front end arms. How they get them, don't really care. They just got to get them.
DC, what are your thoughts on got to get 2 out of the 3, or trade for, Corbin Burns if we can only get one of them?
Yeah, I mean, really want them both. That'd be the 2 out of 3, obviously. I want Yamamoto and Nola. I think, he didn't have the best game tonight, but, he recovered after a pretty poor start. But, it started his appearance. But you got to get 2 of them. If not, like you said, you make a trade. I know you have to go out and you got to make a splash. I think you should sign one, go make a trade. You have the assets to do it. I don't think you have to go crazy, but, we have a lot of decent pieces you can put together without training a lot of top guys in the farm system.
Yeah, man, I wouldn't sit there and be mad at them if they went and signed Yamamoto, Nola, and traded for Corbin Burns. That's one hell of a 1-2-3. Bayo's your 4, Houck your 5. Go for it. Like, we had an amazing offense this year. We just had our downfall was our starting pitching and the defense. If we can sit there and shore up the starting pitching and stop making mistakes at defense, that's a plus for us. And we can easily come out of the basement and finish, second place next year. Easy. DC, final thoughts on Yamamoto?
Yeah, I think I agree with George. I think it's going to be anywhere 24 to 28 range, at least 5 years. But I think you definitely throw it at him. You never know, but I think his potential will be really good. Obviously, the Red Sox are probably a little scared after Dice K, but these guys seem to be putting it together a lot after him. Obviously, you have Darvish, so many after him. So I think he comes over. I think he does well. Maybe a little adjustment period, but I think ultimately it'll be a pretty good signing and worth the money.
Yeah, I sit there and we need him. So, and need is always a strong word for us. But speaking of strong words, man, my man Jason Varitek gets asked by the Giants if they can be interviewed for the managerial position. Now, I said, DC, I think you were there, weren't you?
Yeah.
When the Pesky Party Girls were on, I wanted Varitek to succeed Alex Cora. So, possibility where he could sit there and get interview. Now, there's nothing definite. He didn't accept the interview. The Red Sox, was just asked. So, let's start with you, George. Do you think it's time that, Varitek's ready to sit there and have a managerial spot?
Was that to me?
Yeah, George.
Was that to me, Ritt? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay, DC, go ahead, take this one.
Yeah, I mean, it would suck to see him go, but I ultimately don't think he leaves. I think he'll get the interview. Not that he's not a worthy worthy candidate, but I think his heart is in Boston. But eventually you got to give him a shot, and I think he's definitely well deserving. I think he's gonna be a great manager, when he does that route. But I could be wrong. If it's, if he goes over, that sucks. But that's a great for the Giants organization, and then they got a big fish with him.
Yeah. George, what about you for Veritek?
Yeah. Look, ever since his playing days, everybody's always known he was going to be a manager and going to be a good one. I think that the Giants were smart to make the move and see if he thinks he's ready. I presume that when leap into the front office, whenever that is, that Veritek's is going to be, that guy. So, the Giants are smart to do it. And if he thinks he's ready, then I wouldn't blame him for trying to take it. So,
yeah, it's just I sit there and look at the big picture. Tech's part of the city. His family is huge here. He's just for the most part, he was a captain. He was the captain for how many years of this team. I can't picture him in any other uniform but a Red Sox uniform. So maybe it's just me. I take it to heart because I used to love watching Tech play. He used to command behind the plate, calm pitchers down. He's caught so many Hall of Fame, caliber pitchers, for the Red Sox. It's crazy. But if he takes it, if he gets interviewed, takes it and accepts it, man, the Giants got one heck of a steal there, thinking about that. So, guys, let's sit there and let's go around for some final thoughts. DC, let's start with you. Floor is yours.
Yeah, this is non-Red Sox related, but go Birds. Big win last night. Pretty stoked to see that. But no, I'm excited for the playoff games. Obviously, I want to check up on the Phillies game. They're probably going to end up losing if I remember the core. If the score hasn't changed. But excited for Game 7 of the Rangers Astros. I think Rangers take it. Close game, but I think they just had the pitching tonight. And then, I'm excited to see if there are any more news about, Jaime's replacement. We've seen a lot of people got interviewed. I don't know how many more they have to do, but just anxious to get that to an end and get on with the off season as business as usual.
Yeah, I'm pumped and excited for this off season coming up. This might be one of the best off seasons that the Red Sox have had, hopefully, in a long time, because if we don't make a splash, we're bound to repeat history. So, George, some final thoughts for you?
Yeah, finally the postseason baseball got exciting after some pretty dull first couple of rounds. I'm still holding to my Phillies Astros prediction for the World Series, although the way the Rangers are playing, who knows? I think that it's been a good postseason run. I'm excited because my Patriots finally won again yesterday, and did it in rather dramatic fashion. But I watched the game. I watched the Philly game last night, and that was a pretty good win the Birds put together. As far as the postseason goes, as far as the managerial changes in the front office, just get it done. This is dragged out. This is a circus show again. And where they didn't interview, they only interviewed one candidate the last time. They've had so many people say no, and they've got, I think they re-verified there's been 6 or 7 people interviewed, most of them in the front office. Whatever you want to do, get it done, because the World Series is coming. They've got to make some moves. They got to get some things done, get somebody in the seat to make it happen. All right. The big names we thought that would be interested aren't coming over. So do the best you can with what you got. And as I mentioned in my column on Sunday, give them the tools that they need. Don't tie their hands. All right. Give them the money, give them everything they have to get the job done. Bring Breslow in to be in charge of pitching. I have no trouble with that. He seems to have a knack for being able to do that stuff. They need pitching. Develop it internally, and it becomes a cheaper option for you. But let's not drag this thing on forever. You probably know who you want. Make it happen, and just let's get on with it. We got a busy postseason coming up, and I would say this is the most important postseason since 2003.
Exactly. I got my 2 picks down to Brett. I want Breslow, or just give it to Eddie. Like, they're the only 2 ones that I can think. Breslow, I think, could help out the staff tremendously. He knows pitching, so that's one of our biggest downfalls right now. Heck, I sit there, read somewhere. Heck, let Lester come in and be a pitching coach. Help out the team any way you can. Man, I would sit there and love that. But Breslow and Eddie are my 2 picks. Guys, we want to sit there and throw this out there. So making it really simple, thanks to my man OG George. Bam. Scan that QR code. Head on over to our website. Check out the merchandise. We've got anything from the Roman Empire shirts to the Hulkamania shirt, to the Turner Tough, the Pesky Podcast shirt. We've got some new ones coming up that we're working hand in hand with for the minor league players. So check them out when they come out. But scan the QR code. Head on over there. You can go to our website. You can go to George's column, Riley's column, and anywhere you can sit there and find our podcast. So, but guys, it's been great. For DC, for the OG George Sutherland, and for myself, the Ritt. Check us out next time on the Pesky Podcast.